special bank account for the airport. Part of that grant contract thing was that we have to have a separate account for any revenues generated by the airport. We don't have any. But if revenues go in it in this portion of our portion of the repairs out there is 52.
Bill that is for that airport out of that account. Anything that we pay for the airport, we'll use that account to move that money, and that way it is a separate account, and if they audit us, they can see what it's been used for and where the money.
When this grant comes through, if we have any other grant funds, Homeland Security funds or whatever, any other grant funds, we're probably going to hit that single audit requirement. If we hit 500,000 in grant funds in a calendar year or in a fiscal year, then we have to do a single audit on that.
Well, that shouldn't take too long.
No, it shouldn't. But anyway,
sure, they'd throw something like that in for free, wouldn't it?
I don't know, because that was one of the things they specifically asked about if we had any single audits that had to be done. That was before they gave us a price on this last time. I don't know what all's involved, to tell you the truth, on doing a single audit on that.
On state paperwork.
Yeah, state and federal paperwork. Sure. But anyway, I just feel like we really need to set up a separate account for that airport to handle the ins and outs of that.
You said you're going to pay the bills out there from it?
Yeah, the way that rules wrote, any revenue and expenses should be in a separate account where you can
then
show them.
Pay the expenses out of that, any revenue.
So you won't be paying expenses out of it until we get something into it, right?
Well, we still pay expenses now. What we'll do is we'll figure the electric bill and move that over into that account.
Move it over into there? Okay.
And then write the check for the electric bill out of that account. Probably what I'll try to do is figure it like 3 months at a time and move it into there, and then and that way you don't have money tied up over there that you're not using at that moment.
Any other questions?
I move we open a special bank account for the airport.
Okay, we have a motion. Have a second? Kirk, second. All in favor? Item number 4. Shut options on voting machines. I talked to you sometime back where we're going to start a process to see if we can get a waiver from the Justice Department to do away with our voting machines. The further I've dug into this thing, the more I've decided we may be cutting our nose off to spite our face if we do that. So I suspect within the next 4 to 5 years, it's all going to go electronic. There will be no paper ballots. We're going to have to run around,
Do it all over again.
do it all over again. We could probably, at the point we're at right now, I think we probably could get that waiver. I talked to Dwayne Daniels up there, and after they started dealing with the comptroller's office, I think they may be kind of thinking the same thing.
Had they gotten rid of theirs?
No, they got the waiver from the Justice Department, and then found out they had to get a waiver from the comptroller's office too. I've got mixed feelings. I know the voting machines, they're expensive. They're a little aggravating right now because most people still won't. I'm kind of the opinion that when we got those things in, if we'd gone strictly electronic at the time instead of doing both, I think everybody would be aware of the machines and how they work, and would be getting all the votes on them. The expense wouldn't seem like it was so great. And like Andy and I talked about, it costs us about $5,000, a little over every time to get all that done. And in the grand scheme of things, budget, that's not a great deal of money. It's a great deal of money per ballot cast on, as they said presently are done. But like I say, the further I get into this thing, the more I'm really beginning to wonder if that's really the road we want to go down. But I'm thinking within the next 4 or 5 years, we're gonna have to restart the whole darn thing again. Let's face it, folks, we're going to an electronic world. Paper is on its way out. And who carries a checkbook anymore, basically? I mean, that's just a sign of the times. And if I had, I think right now after checking into it, if I had to choose one or the other, I'd say rather than do away with electronic, I'd say do away with the paper. But we have a system, we're doing both now. And I really, at this point, I really think it would be really kind of messing up if we go.
Does the county have the authority to do away with paper ballot per se, or does it have to?
You know, I don't, we did at one time, we selected on how to go, when the mandated the thing, you could do either like we're doing it with both, or go strictly electronic. I think we've gone straight electronic voting at that time. Every county of any consequence, that's what it is. You can't get a paper ballot in most counties, just all out here, because we just didn't want to force our own. But most of our elderly voters vote abstain.
There's a couple of states that vote paper by mail.
Yeah.
Is that who they're after?
I don't know.
I think it's Washington State, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember who it is.
Yeah,
They vote paper by mail.
Yeah, it's a, what is it they call that? Yeah, it's all done by mail. It's a kind of a motor voter type of thing. Oh, okay. And that seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah. So they're gonna make them go electronic too?
I don't know.
They ain't gonna like it. They've been voting at the house.
Yeah, they ain't gonna like showing up down in lines somewhere.
And it's like this year to military, I emailed ballots to one in Afghanistan and one in Germany for the military.
Yeah. See, I mean, it's there is that push on to do away with paper, to go electronic, except for the absentee. That's not in the way. I mean, that'll always be there. And maybe the states that's got that mail-in ballot thing, maybe they found a way around some of the electronic stuff. But they're still going to have to provide electronic voting at the voting places. Yeah, polling places. So if y'all want me to, I mean, I'll drive on with this thing, and I'll go for that deal. Right now, it just looks like to me that it's. I've had lots of discussions with Jim about this in the last week or two. When I find out a little more information, go over, and he's hearing the exact same thing I am. But I wanted to bring it up, put it on the agenda, put it out there for y'all, and we can, as a board, decide. Well, I mean, I'd be happy to drive on if that's what.
I'm kind of like you. I'm for going old style paper, but I'm not for selling those machines because I think it's going to eventually get.
That's what I'm thinking. I think.
Well, and the only thing is, even if we don't use them, it might keep them off of us because we've got them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, hey, I don't know nobody's using them, but at least, because like I said, we get rid of them and they come back and we have to replace them. They didn't cost us anything.
Right.
No, they didn't cost them.
No, they didn't cost nothing.
That was all grant.
Who supplied?
Holly Grant.
Yeah.
Is there a time they're gonna be obsolete if you have to replace them?
I bet you're obsolete now. I would bet.
Yeah. I don't know.
If in that case, there's no grant covered.
I don't know. Hal Grant's done. It's finished. It is no more.
Yeah, I knew that.
But
always dream up something else.
yeah, well, that's good. But I suspect the way things are today, they say, well, we got you set up and that's you're on your own hook.
You're on your own time.
You know, well, they may mandate changes, but I doubt there'll be any funds to go with it. So, like I said, I really didn't understand all the ramifications, so I got into this thing trying to get this waiver.
What percentage uses, what percentage don't
Very
residents use?
Very good,
Huh?
very good. Use the machine?
Yeah.
Very good.
I didn't,
Yeah, and everybody, you know, we all know, people are just resistant to change. Yeah.
I didn't mind changing it, it's easier to sit there with the ballot.
Well, yeah, when there's like, especially like on a school board or a hospital board, there's just two names. It's easier to go down and put the X and be done.
Yeah.
Before it can process the ballot, you've already voted.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, I'm gonna leave it up for the body here to decide. I thought it was a great idea when I first went hearing about it.
But if we quit using them, put them up somewhere, like say, we keep, use strictly paper. Like say we'd have them.
Well, without that waiver, we're gonna have to have them available.
I mean, yeah, okay, but that's what you're gonna look into, if we could get that waiver.
Get that
If
waiver.
we still wanna do that.
Okay, but if we get that waiver,
Yeah.
if we get a waiver, and, you know, to do away with them, go strict paper.
Yeah.
Well, someday,
Well,
and I
yeah.
don't think it's too far off, that they're gonna mandate it goes strictly to
Yeah,
electronic.
I agree.
And at that time, I'm figuring we're gonna have to come with new machines. They're gonna say, oh, no, you
But if we
can't
keep these-
start using old machines here. You're gonna have to come up with a new.
Like her, if we
Handy
keep these,
dandy.
we'll have them in case that comes to pass.
Yeah, if we keep using them, we leave it like it is right now, when it comes up to that, I think we'd still be kind of grandfathered in to use the machines we've got.
Yeah.
We may not, I don't know. They may, when it comes to that, they're, like I say, depends on who has the money.
Somebody run off some.
Yeah,
We
who's
still
running
use
also.
We still have the ballot made and use the counter, right?
Yeah. And
That's a big deal.
talking to Patty, we wasn't gonna ask for a waiver on that counter. We're gonna continue to use it. Cause that's a pretty valuable.
Yeah.
So what we're just talking about is just the voting machines now.
What does it cost to have that machine programmed? How many do we have programmed
You
each
have to-
election? And what's it
I
cost?
usually set up one for each precinct, so I have 4 cards.
Uh-huh.
And then I have to have a card for the, I have to have an early voting card for the county machine and an election day card for the county machine. I have 1 card for each voting machine. And then I usually order 1 extra in case something's wrong with one of those cards.
You usually cost, what, about $5,000 per election cycle, isn't it, something like that?
Yeah, it's 4 or 5,000.
But does that card, is it the same card that fits the county?
No.
That's a different process?
Each card will fit each voting machine. They're the same. And the county machines are the same except for you mark one of early voting and one of election day, so that you can turn them in separately. Because when they turn them into the state, they want them separately by precinct.
See, Butch come in this with me today, because he won't get rid of it.
Yeah.
But he was at I guess, Republican Party chairman's meeting or something, and he mentioned that too, and he was told down there, well, you can do that, but you probably here in the next few years, you're gonna have to go back to it. And that's the way everybody's gonna be voting, is through electronic. So, I told him, well, I didn't know, but he's getting it from that direction, and then now, the more I've got it, I'm beginning to hear it from certain places. Calling, getting advice on how to do this, and this is what I'm being told.
Okay, but are the parties mandated to use that? Or is it just the general?
I think any election, you have to have them available,
Yeah.
in all elections. Primaries, not in general election.
They have to be,
No,
yes, sir.
and the primaries, the parties have to.
So you're not only paying for them early voting, you know, for election day, you're also paying for them early voting.
So, it's kind of one of those things, dadgum if you do and dadgum if you don't.
Yeah.
And before the HAVA grant, what we had left over, we paid maintenance, fees and, you know, contracts, but now you don't have that anymore. So if there's any maintenance on the machines, the county will have to pay for it.
Does the parties not pay for their part of the programming?
The parties pay the primary.
Yeah, primary.
We pay the general,
That's what I thought.
but it, you know,
Yeah, any primary or runoff, that's the parties in the general election. That's, or if we had to call a special election, I'm assuming the county, you know, hook we could have.
yeah, they just pay the primaries.
So, what's your pleasure, guys?
We like, well, just table it.
Just leave it as is for the time being.
Keep your ears around.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
One thing that you might do is call that
I'll
company
keep
that made
everything that I've got in
and
there
ask
on this
them
thing,
how
and
long
if
they're
there's
gonna
something
keep
changes and it
updating
looks like it'd be a
software
good
for 'em.
deal for us, I'll drive on.
Because
But
if they
right
say
now,
they're
I'm
gonna be
thinking it's not
obsolete
gonna be
in so
good.
many years, then
It might be for a
it
year or
might be
two,
something to start looking around and see
but I think
who's gonna be having what you need to replace them with.
Well, you said a while ago 5 years.
That's
Two elections.
yes and yes.
All right, it costs us $5,000 an election, that's $10,000. If we have to replace that stuff, I think that stuff we got when we got that HAVA grant was about $140,000, does that sound right?
Mhm.
those
Either
machines
100
right
plus.
now, our machines are valued at $56,000.
All of them, and we've got
So
11.
they depreciate.
We have, is it 9 voting machines and, or is it 11 voting machines and 9 counting machines? I can't remember how many. Because these were bought back, I think.
Well, it's back there
Linda.
before we combined the precincts.
Yeah, and when you had.
Yeah, we had 9 precincts, we
voting
had to have a
precincts.
voting machine.
Yeah,
each.
yeah.
See, the other thing, we had 9 precincts, we got 9, and we got one for absentee, and then we got a spare, is what I thought we got. That's why I had 11 in my head. I could be wrong
I
with
wanna
that.
think,
That's right.
I wanna think there's 11 and 9.
And, you know, if we got that waiver and so we quit using them, whether we sold the machines or not. If we come back and say, okay, we're gonna go to all electronic voting, I would bet since we haven't been doing that, they'd say, okay, here's the new fancy dancy machines that you gotta have. And we may be out $150,000 now to recoup where we were at. That's just my feeling on it.
Let's just do what the Brazos G did. Let's just suspend, you know what Brazos G did?
Yeah, that's it. Changed our rules in midstream. Okay, so we just want to table that, let's leave it as is for now and see what information we get in the future.
Who knows, you may just have to have a touch screen computer monitor and just,
iPhone, that's what they're saying, that's where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Or iPads or something like that.
and you won't even have to have a voting machine.
How many times can you vote?
I think that's all it is, just a matter of figuring out how to get the safe locks in there where you can't,
Yeah. How many IDs are you gonna have?
you know.
We like voting for the American Idol winner. It's 50 cents and a 900.
Get 10 votes apiece.
If you have multiple phones, you can do it.
Okay. We'll table that.
No, I need a motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion that we table.
Okay,
Item number.
we have a second? Item number 4.
Here.
Got a second, Jan? All in favor? Item number 6, consider offer for allowing insurance cafeteria plans, and I think I'm gonna let Anya talk about this one.
I'm gonna leave the room. Hey, calm down.
Yes, I have.
Okay, go ahead, that's
Wait,
good.
now wait, she was stirred up.
Oh, she was pretty wound up, I come along here, I just happened into hold it, man, but anyway. Go ahead, Amy.
Well, now I'm embarrassed, I can't.
Could you get Anya full screen?
I got wide lens on there.
That's it. Up there.
Going back to
Full screen, man.
Yeah, you're.
You just couldn't
I'm
keep
gonna
running.
tell you,
I would
you
pay
can't
you.
lose your check.
Yeah. Your check will find its way into the mail. On the cafeteria plans, we've been having a lot of problems with them. The thing is, once these employees sign up for a cafeteria plan, they're not allowed out for a year. They don't realize that, and they're not told that. But they're not allowed to opt out and say, hey, I don't want you to take that on my check anymore. They're locked in for a year. And these insurance companies don't tell them that. And we would really like, as these plans expire, one from National Family Care Life is fixing to expire in May, we would really like to just be able to tell them, you know, we're opting out of the cafeteria plan. If you want to sell regular insurance, that's fine. We're not going to do the cafeteria plans, because cafeteria plans are where they lock them in for a year and you can't get them out unless they quit.
You know, I don't see why we should, you know, kind of make our county employees just in the crosshairs, these insurance companies. If they want to sell our employees insurance, go to the house at night like every other insurance company has to do. And talk to them about it. And then if they decide to quit paying the premium, says, I don't really like this thing, if they don't get a check from them every month, then they're going to cancel them. But with this thing, Anna has to keep sending them, deducting out of the employee's paycheck for a year and sending them money, whether the employee wants to continue to do that or not. And you know, and they may have something unusual come up. Well, I just can't afford it. I need all my money on my checks. Well, sorry, you're in this thing for a year. I don't like it, and I agree with Anna.
I didn't know it was other way.
That's one of the things, I didn't realize what the whole, I couldn't remember why they kept coming here, you know, of course, coming on about this tax deal and all this. You know,
Yeah, but they don't tell you they're locking.
What their loop was, they're trying to lock you in on that deal for a year.
Yeah.
Well, can we change our policy on our cafeteria plan to where an employee can opt out at his will?
No, because the IRS governs those cafeteria plans, and that's where they get you locked
They fixed
in.
that deal right, they need to just did it.
Yeah.
And another thing they've done, and with Aflac it really came out, Aflac wanted us to have mandatory meetings that everybody had to attend to sign off on this, especially over at the jail. And I told her, we're not going to pay our dispatchers to come in and attend a mandatory meeting. Well, you have to.
You know, we got a
I know,
dispatch.
it was wrong, I had to.
From midnight to 6 in the morning, or 8 in the morning. I'm not gonna tell them, okay, you gotta turn around here at 10 o'clock, come in and talk to these people.
I didn't come back and talk to that lady from
You never did?
And they just kept demanding it.
I never have. Even when Aflac.
So, with the problems this thing's been, and when you look at the way that thing is, I'm not saying it's underhanded, I'm just saying that I'm not sure our employees were fully explained how that thing is supposed to work. I wasn't explained.
And I didn't understand until I had an employee that wasn't quitting, that wanted out. And I was flat told, they can't get out. You will be in trouble with the IRS if they get out.
They signed that contract. Now, I don't know, you know, it's well, let's just test the deal.
If we can't cancel our
I found a long time ago,
contract
when IRS says you owe, you pay, and
To,
it'll be done with it.
like,
But
this National
I just
Family
don't-
Care
I
Life,
don't like the idea
those
of letting
contracts
our
expire
employees
May the
sign it.
31st of
You
this
know, it's
year.
a sacrificial.
So even if we had a resolution that said the county will no longer participate with any cafeteria plans.
We would have to wait till each one of these plans come up and
Yeah.
then.
We're hooked on that Aflac deal, though. We've got We've got
Another
there a full
year.
year of that thing.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are gonna start to wind up.
As they wind down, we can make our policy here that we will not participate in any future cafeteria plans and any plans that's already enforced. Once their expiration date arrives, then they will no longer be any.
And here's the thing, I mean, I didn't even realize we had an expiration date till the lady was telling me about it. And you have to give them 30 days written notice before that expiration date that you're not gonna participate anymore.
But we're within our 30-day window there.
Yes.
How many employees do we have that take advantage of that?
Of this one,
No,
about
of the total cafeteria plan.
probably 7 or 8 in all, some of them double over. A lot of them's with New York Life, and that isn't a cafeteria plan.
It is not.
No, New York Life is strictly insurance, life insurance, it's not. And it's not.
So it really won't affect them then,
Mm-mm.
because it don't come out pre-taxes.
And, right, and a lot of ours is not pre-tax. They have policies, like Lacey has policies on her kids, those are not pre-tax policies. So she's not in the cafeteria plan with that part of it. You know, and I think that's where they get you, is they just make it sound like it's all one big deal, and if you don't like it, you can get out. But in reality, when you sign for yourself, because they can only do it for the employee themselves, when they sign it for themselves, it becomes pre-tax and they become locked in. If Lacey wanted to call them and say, hey, you know what, and you don't take out any more money from my kids' insurance, then I can just stop it, because it's not in that cafeteria plan. And it's the cafeteria plan itself that, see, like on National Family Care Life, I have 4 right now, and I have 1 wanting out. Aflac, I have 4, but one of them, I don't know what's gonna happen there. They sold her a bunch of stuff, she tried to back out of it. They say they fixed it, but every time the invoice comes out, it's not fixed. So I don't know what's gonna happen on that situation.
Actually charging her every month twice what she thought she was gonna be charged for. She thought it was once a month, and it's once every pay period, every 2 weeks.
And so she canceled all of that and just wanted this little vision policy, and they haven't got that right yet, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. Liberty National, I think we have 2 or 3 people still on it. We don't have a large number of people on any of these policies. And a large part of them are putting their kids on these policies, or, you know, their accident policies, dental policies, stuff like that. Which, like I said, I don't have a problem taking money out for their insurances. I have a problem being locked in to the point I can't do what that employee wants me to do with their paycheck.
I know the school they have a limit, they have 1 cafeteria, provider. Nobody else, just 1. If somebody comes in up there and wants to sell something and wants it on the cafeteria plan, they can purchase it, but it still goes through that 1 provider, and then they have trouble collecting on it. That's the way that provider pushes them away.
That's really it. How big a nightmare is it for you to have all these different?
It's not that big of a nightmare to have the different ones. It's just that you end up with 5 meetings, everybody's got to come sign off on this,
And it doesn't really save that much on their taxes. I mean, we're talking about pennies. Literally.
They like it because they sign you up, they're gonna get paid for 1 year.
Yeah, they get that first year.
Which is where the money's at in the insurance business anyway, is the first year load up.
And I just kinda got the idea that if they come in here and their insurance is good, employees on their own time. If the employee wants it, fine, and then if the employee decides 2 months later, things change in their finances or something, and they won't quit it, they just quit writing a check for it, and it's done. They're out of it. They're not approved. That's my.
Road and Bridge has to come over here every time we have one of these insurance people come in here. Jimmy has to bring his people over here, and they have to come in. They've never signed up for anything, but they have to come and sign and say, we don't want it. Kenny can't just call over here and say, hey, my guys aren't coming because they don't want it.
Evidently, whenever y'all give them approval, that means we have to, every employee has to either take it or sign a waiver.
Yeah,
We don't have a
it's
choice.
supposed, each employee has to sign a waiver. I've been explaining this program, and I'm not interested. That's the way it's supposed to work. I just seem not to give anybody else permission to do that. If they won't sell insurance, they'll sell insurance.
So you just want to set a policy that we're not,
We don't enter into any more cafeteria, plan agreements, and if when the present ones that's in force, reach their maturity date, that we notify them that we're opting out. That's what I'd like to see. Now, that's what the silver-haired lady
that's
sitting
what
over
we're
against
saying,
the wall.
we like that what the county treasurer wants to do.
The county treasurer would like that very much. I mean, I don't want to end up in front of the labor board, saying, well, they did write me a letter and tell me they wanted this to stop coming out of their check, but, I really didn't have a choice.
Any other discussion? Do we have any kind of a motion on this?
I move that we, offer no more cafeteria plans, and as the ones that expire, we give them their 30 days notice and be done with it.
Okay. Have a motion, have a second. David, second. All in favor? Motion carried.
But if an employee wanted to stay in, they can stay in, right?
Yes, they say, yeah.
I don't think they can stay in the cafeteria plan if we're not supporting the cafeteria plan. They can keep their
They can
insurance.
continue to pay the, premium.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Still keep
Yeah,
the policy.
they got
But
a
it's
policy. They
it's
keep
just
that
like,
policy.
what I said, it don't amount to any money. All that tax deal was a gimmick to get them in there so they could lock them up for a year.
Yep.
And they're guaranteed they're gonna get the money, cause Andy's gonna send them a check
Exactly. That's it.
in a timely fashion.
And we're talking about literally pennies savings on taxes. That's it. All right. Item number 7. Consider approval of purchase of a sea container. And we talked about this before. I contacted this LDS Enterprises, Wire Assembly. That's who that the appraisal bought their containers off of. He can set us a 40-foot by 9.5-foot tall sea container that's still fully seaworthy and watertight for $4,200.
You have big doors on each end?
Yeah. Oh, on each end?
Yeah, have you seen those?
I was told that that those and the taller ones were aluminum boxes. Now, I don't know if that's a big fact or not. Not wrong.
That 9.5 foot's the tall one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's high key.
That's what he said. He's got them at 40 foot long by 9.5 feet tall.
Delivered.
$4,200.
You have to put it on a pad.
I don't know.
Draper Hargrove's got his fixed up, it's about as neat as they are. He's got some, it's probably 4-inch pipe. He's got them moving around, he's got one going across, and that thing sets up off the ground up with it. So, I've got one, and it sets up off the ground about 6 inches. It's sitting on, concrete pad. What, one on each end.
That's what I did on mine. I built a, well, actually, on the other end down there, I built a porch out front of mine, same width as the sea container, sticks out about 6 foot, and I think I used 2 6s and just set on top of the ground, framed up, and dug down and dug 3, one concrete, rebar, shot them level. But I mean, it made that one end down there, it's, of course, the way it's on my land, it goes in a cut, my pad's level with the ground, but my sea container probably that high off the ground all the way.
Well, and of course, to buy this thing, that's just part of the expense. We'd be looking at doing something like that to the level, either pads or some sort of a stand set it on or something. I think probably pads to low.
Are we gonna put it down at the precinct pool barn? Is that what we're gonna put it at?
I've talked to the appraisal district about putting it down here with theirs, and she was gonna have that on their agenda to see if we can do that all right.
I think what they're gonna look for the mower now to do.
Plus we'll be looking at either having shelves built or buying some shelves and put in it. But that's be, you know, a place like those rolling machines. It's got that room full down there. Equipment like that put down.
We're gonna put a cooler in it though?
Well, you know, it seems to me like it would work pretty good if we're gonna keep documents in it.
I think you're gonna have to.
But now, what Jim's saying on the stuff they're putting in the appraisal district down there, you should just make sure it's vented, and most of them have the little vent porch out. And they just put stuff in it. They haven't tried to put any kind of a cooler in it or anything. Now, the hospital down there that's storing their records and stuff in, they went in there and had that foam sprayed on the inside, and they just got a regular one of those window type air conditioner heater combination units. And that thing, it'll make icicles on your nose in the summertime when that air conditioner. That's a good system. You can keep it climate controlled. But when we do that, I mean, if we did that, I think, you know, something like we did down there at the tower. But that little unit, I think, was like $2,600, I think is what we paid for that little unit down there. It used very little energy to operate.
Electricity running over there.
Yeah, well, they've got power over there. You know, and the thing about one of those little units like we put down there, the only kind of opening you have to have is about a 2-inch round hole. So you got an outside unit, and then you just have where that wiring or piping or whatever comes from it to the little inside unit, it just hangs up on the wall about that big square, about that thick. Pretty efficient little unit. But like I say, the $4,200, that's just kind of the beginning, depending on how well, you know, how involved we want to get in setting that thing up.
But it might not be necessary to have it unit.
That might not, no.
It would be much better than one cutting a hole in it.
Does yours sweat?
I hadn't noticed it, but it hurt.
I don't think mine sweats.
See, that when we had down there around I never did notice it. And I think that's the deal about maybe the vent.
Yeah.
Vented it, I think, keep it from sweating. If it wasn't vented, it probably would sweat. But we'd need to have some type of a pad system put down there to, you know, for level, and I think probably be a good idea to have it kind of up off the ground so air can circulate under it. And then, like I say, some kind of shelving. Either we buy steel shelving to put in it, or we have someone to build.
I bet you can go to Sam's and buy that shelving, cheap as you can build it, don't you think?
Oh, you're playing milk.
We could.
Anyway, but like I say, if we just put a little pad down there for it to set on to level it, or, I mean, you know, just, I'm not saying full pad, just a, you know, end pads for it to set on, hold it up, get that done, get some shelving on it, it shouldn't cost that much. I don't know what shelving, you know.
Did he drive across yours? When he set it down?
I set mine myself with a skid steer and a hay fork on a 4320. Picked it up. And we set mine out there on 2 highline posts, because I didn't have my piers built.
Oh,
And then we just backed up front, I got that skid steer on one side, and that 4320 on the other side, and we picked that dude up, walked up there and set it down.
I moved those things all over the plant down there, you know, with 2 forklifts. Pick them up and
I just get Frazier to come in there and enforce them. Like I say, you know, before you a little bit of an approach on that, on your double door, so you got somewhere to kick the dirt off feet before you step up in there. You know, you build that, I think mine are 2 foot wide, 2 foot thick, and then the width of the sea container on the one end, and on the other end, I think I built mine about, I mean, it's probably 6 foot.
yeah,
Yeah, probably, I probably
sloping off, or do you just?
Well, I shot mine on the level, but anyway, I mean, yeah, you probably will slope yours off, because mine run in cuts, so mine's level with the dirt, but, yeah, like you're saying, because you're gonna jack it up at least 6 inches off the ground, wouldn't you?
I think so.
I know this sounds nutty, it's just a thought, because I'm gonna do this to mine, because I'm gonna put a shed on mine for horses, because right there takes the pen, but, you know, I got in my mind, if I put that shed over the top of that, it'll cut that heat out, because I won't get that direct sun on that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we set ours close enough to the appraisals, it might be something to think about coming back. I mean, I know it sounds crazy to put a shed over something that's airtight, but at the same time, that might take that heat off that enough that them dudes get pretty hot in there.
Yeah, they do, I agree.
I don't know what a shed would cost to throw something up, but I think it would cost money.
I thought appraisal district and see that, they have 2 down there, right?
I don't know.
I hadn't gone down there and looked at them. I thought they had, can you?
What?
Do they have, the appraisal district have 2 or 1?
One.
Just 1? Well, you know, if we could slide them where we just got just a little narrow walk space between them, it wouldn't take a whole lot of, to put a shed over it, cover over it.
Trade that out for parking hours with theirs, to be able to shed over. Trade it out with.
Yeah, it's just, simple slope.
I don't know if you have slope.
They like so flat.
I mean, if you just put some, if they were on the same level, you just want to put some 6-inch purlin and frame it up, and then hang on. I don't know if this will work or not, I just got it in my mind, when I was gonna add on to my shed,
Just weld the purlin down on the top of it.
Yeah.
Standing on its edge there, and you just put a sheet iron.
Just put a sheet iron down there. Like I said, I don't know if it'll work or not, but I just had made up my mind whenever I put that shed on mine, for a loafing shed, I thought, I'm just gonna run it all the way out there, and that way that seat won't take that direct sunshine. What do you think, Keith?
I know, mobile homes, for instance, I'm seeing a lot of them with sheds built over, that's the reason, because that direct sunlight off that roof. And I understand it cuts electricity bills a bunch.
Something to think about.
It takes the sun rays and allows air to circulate under it. I'll bet you $1 would reduce temperature in summertime in that thing by 20-30 degrees anyway.
Well,
Maybe more.
I'd say that.
I know that when we had down there at Mother's, you step in that thing in the middle of the afternoon in the summertime, you couldn't even breathe that air.
Yeah.
And then because it probably wouldn't cost near as much to put a little shed like that over, than it would cost to blow the insulation and air condition the darn thing. Like I say, that little unit, I think, is $2,600.
You can keep it, say, 90 or 100 degrees in there, that shouldn't deteriorate anything, should it?
I wouldn't think so.
You know, the cold will work.
No. To me, well, I figure when you get up there at that 120, 130 degrees of stagnant air, I figure that's where you get deterioration in.
High humidity, we don't have that here.
Yeah.
So, I guess we want to get it, we need approval to build a little pad for it and shelter. And I don't know what that costs, but it's probably, I'm gonna guess the shelving probably looking at maybe $1,000, roughly.
Yeah, about $100 a piece. You sell one at a time.
You know, I think we'd probably just want shelving down one side and leave one side with what, to stack like those voting machines up.
I know Justin, we went there and bought the shelving, he bought the shelving out and put it up in that sea container he has, and it's pretty nice.
Big thing you bought there.
Yeah, bought the big heavy metal ones, the heavy ones.
Yeah, I think that's what you
They,
want.
they work good. They sure did. Seemed like they were about,
Yeah, a little wider.
I don't think they were 2 foot. They might have been. They was nice.
What do you think, Jim?
I think it's a good idea. Only thing is, I know a girl that stored a piano in one, and it worked her piano,
Got too hot.
Got too hot.
so.
Yeah,
you don't
I
store
think
anything
we either
like
need to,
that, you're gonna have
if you're gonna do this,
air
consider
conditioning.
the shed or, and that would probably keep that heat down. I think we could keep it to whatever the outside air temperature is anyway, if we put that in the shed.
One thing about it, even if you put the shed over and it don't work, and you go back and put the air